Mm.
Okay, I'm going to go in live here. That's right.
Okay.
It's the morning show. We're going to get started in just a minute here with our live event. Jesse's making sure all of our audio is ready to go. We're going to be playing some of the weather, I believe, and which, oddly enough, I think has been quite cool, right? So we went back from really warm to really hot to now back to kind of like pretty nice, at least here on the West Coast. Around the country, not so nice, but we'll talk a little bit about that. And if you have questions and or comments, please do share them. How much time we got till we go live, Jesse?
We got 30 seconds till I start my weather.
All right, so we'll go ahead and play that, and we'll be right back.
Good morning. I'm forecaster Jimmy O'Neill from the KMET Weather Center. For the Beaumont and the Banning area, for those daytime hours, expect mostly sunny skies, highs in the lower 70s. For the daytime hours for the IE area, sunny skies, they will be in abundance, highs in the mid 70s. And for the daytime hours in the Coachella Valley, sunny skies, they are in abundance through the afternoon, highs in the mid 80s. I'm forecaster Jimmy O'Neill for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. Good to have you with us on today's show. We got lots of updates from around the world. Of course, the weekend was great. We gained an hour. Yay. What are you doing with that hour that you have each and every day? I will say this. I'm always happy for the fallback, but I'm never good for the spring forward. The spring forward is the one that really messes me up. The fallback is like, oh, goodness, yay, I got an extra hour to wake myself up. Did that work for you, Jesse?
Honestly, I think it did because you know what? I woke up great this morning.
You're like, yay!
Like,
I
no,
don't know why, but I feel good right now.
it maybe because I got more sleep. I don't know, but all I know is I guess I went to sleep early. I went to sleep around 9:30, so I guess I'm getting old.
Well, that would be 10:30, right? Our body clocks are interesting. If you've ever woken up at a certain time each and every day, there's something about your body that just knows, right? It doesn't need an alarm if you train your body to wake up at each and every time each day. Now, there have been times, and Jesse knows this, where I wake up later than I ever wanted. I'm like, oh shoot, oh no, I'm late for work. Oh no, right? And I get like, oh, and I don't know if anybody's ever done that this week or in the past few weeks, but when it springs forward, that's when it's really difficult. You're like, oh, it takes like 3 hours to wake up. Your body's not getting used to it, so it's got to readjust. So my question kind of is this. Remember, Jesse, we talked about this, I think, last year. There was a vote about daylight savings time and it being kind of like no longer adjusted because I think everybody kind of agreed. What happened?
I don't know. Let's get rid of it. Let's just go to standard time. I mean, unless we use this, I mean, the only what why do we even start daylight saving time? The only thing I can remember is something from the movie National Treasure.
Yeah.
But other than that, I have no recollection of it.
Well, and then they removed it later because we used to have it earlier, right? We used to have it earlier, and then it was like because I remember something clicked on, and I'm like, wait, does our time move back already? That was like 3 weeks ago, so I was like, wait, I'm so confused. And then it changed back. So I don't even know. I'm looking at the latest news. Um, oh, here we go. The legislative push for permanent daylight savings time renewed again. Like, I don't understand this. I think we already voted on this over here, so I don't understand why they haven't implemented at least one of them and then say, okay, can our body clocks just be normal? Because I don't think back in the day, like way back in the day, of like our history, like I don't know, 180 to 80 80. I'm pretty sure they weren't like, I mean, you do know like the Jewish people actually, you know when they actually considered a day to start and a day to end, Jesse?
Negatory.
Sunset. Every time the sun would set, that would be the end of one day, And there you go. Or the start of a new day, right? So that's how they would kind of gauge it. So I was like, okay. And so it was pretty easy, right? So they didn't worry about the time difference and making, they were just like, okay, that's the end of our day. We're good, right? Which is a more normal way, which I think is why when it gets dark earlier, you feel like, oh, it's so late. You know what I mean? But because I remember thinking that right away, and I'm like, why does it feel so late? But anyway, I think that's just our body history, and our body history doesn't like the time history that the Earth does here, especially in the U.S. But members of Congress have renewed the push to make daylight saving time permanent as most of the nation turned back the clocks. Sunday, U.S. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, a Rhode Island Democrat, said the Bipartisan Sunshine Protection Act, that's a thing, would end an antiquated and disruptive practice. You see, they agree with me, Jesse. They call it a disruptive practice. Nobody thinks of it that way.
I hate switching it back, switching it forward. It's just a nuisance, especially if I forget.
Yeah, this is what they said in a statement Friday. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything until I read this full article to you guys. Okay, each November, the practice of falling back an hour disrupts our lives and robs us of daylight hours to enjoy ourselves. Well, I like the falling back. I'm not gonna lie. It's time for Congress to take up this bipartisan legislation. I don't know that Congress has to take up like that much time to go. Can we just like how much time do you have to take to kind of figure out? Can we get rid of it, guys? Yeah, I think we can get rid of it. All yay, yay, all nay. Just you? Oh, sure. Done and done. Right? Isn't it that easy? Like, do we have to really make a big thing of it and then like, okay, we got like, it's not that hard, people. I mean, if you can make sense of that, man, the things you guys will get done, right? The bills that they have to write up, like 80 pages to 100 gazillion pages. And then people's like, I don't have time to read this. What did you put in there? Oh, don't worry about it. Blah, blah, blah. Right? That's the problem that we come into. But just make it simple. We don't like it. We don't like it. It's antiquated. Yeah, that makes sense. No. The history is, do we farm? Oh, no. Do we have lights at night? Yeah. There we go. Simple. Easy breezy. Anyway, so they said, there it is. It's time for Congress to take up this bipartisan legislation to make daylight saving time permanent and give Rhode Islanders an hour of afternoon sunshine back during the dark winter month. I say yay. There you go. I think we should do that. White House has co-sponsored the measure along with two senators, Florida Republican Marco Rubio, like that guy, and Massachusetts Democrat Ed Markey. Have no idea who he is. He argues that making daylight saving time permanent has economic and public health benefits. White House said evidence suggests it can lead to greater economic activity, greater energy savings, and, get this, lower rates of seasonal depression. I didn't even think about that, Jesse. That is actually a good point, right?
How would you get seasonal depression?
Well, okay, for example, let's say somebody's used to the sunlight, right? And they go out during the day, but all of a sudden their day is gone because let's say, for example, okay, you get off work. Now, you get off work at what time, usually? It varies, right?
It varies, usually around 1, and then usually one day out of the week I'll be gone around 7 p.m., so.
Okay, so let's say, for example, you had a regular 8 to 5 job, right? Which Jesse does have a regular job. He has a pretty fun job, I would say. But having said that, can you tell I want to keep Jesse forever? You're never going anywhere, Jesse. I don't care. No, but really, the reality is a lot of people work from 8 to 5, right? Now, you got people working at home. I get that. But now you get out at 5 o'clock, and it's already really dark, right? Now you're thinking, okay, I got to get home, right? Now, what happens in the dark? This, and I've never even considered this, to be honest. He said we would have fewer car accidents and robberies with more daylight in the late afternoon. I didn't even think about that. But it makes sense, right? In the dark, especially when everybody's trying to get home, I remember thinking, oh man, it feels so late at like 5, 6, 7, and 8, because I remember working 8 to 5 jobs. And I remember wanting to get back to my, at the time I was married, and I'm like, I can't wait to get some food. But I'm like, but by the time you get home, when they switch it back, you're kind of like, okay, I'm done with the night. But wait, we want to watch a movie. Oh, okay. Because the body clock is just like used to dark means I go to sleep. For some of us, right? Some of us aren't sensitive about that. We're like, yay, because we got all the different lights, shining bright in our house or whatnot. More light, the more you will stay awake at night. That's just a fact. And or your clocks, or not clocks, but your phones. If you look at your phones and they have like a certain light, you keep watching that bluish light. You know how you could switch it to nighttime and or daytime, and all of a sudden you feel a little bit more tired when you go into that yellow your eyes kind of relax and you're like, oh wow, it really works. Have you done that, Jesse, where you have like that little switch? I'm getting an iPhone back. I can't wait.
I do use that blue light filter that they use.
Good. And so that's where I'm at right now. So I'm going to use that on my setting. I ordered, by the way, big update, everybody. I'm so happy to announce I no longer am going to want this phone. This is the Samsung Galaxy Note, okay? 20, which is amazing. I'm gonna say its screen ability being so wide is awesome. The fact that it's so I've watched Netflix on here and I'm like, wow, the picture quality is amazing. However, having said that, there's so much screen and it's got one of the rounded curves. Any little touch that you use on this device makes you click on something. So when you're trying to take a picture, right? Just no one talks about this. When you want to take a picture, you want to push something, you have to be like very careful not to touch the screen because it's very sensitive, right? So the problem with the rounded corners is it makes every single portion of the screen easy to like mess up, right? So when you're like in the moment of like a really good picture, you're pushing it or you give it to somebody, it's like, oh, the camera went away. What do you mean the camera went away? Oh, yeah, don't touch the corners. Well, how do you not touch the corners? People I think want to say, they're like, okay, oh, it did it again. Okay, don't do that. Do this. And they're like, okay, and now the moment's gone, right? So there's been times when I push this thing, or sometimes it's not even responsive. I push it and I touch it, and lately it like doesn't go through. Like I want to like comment, but it's the screen is acting weird. So I don't know why it doesn't register. So I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm going back to the iPhone. I've done this before. I've done Samsung before. And I was happy with it, but I cracked, I think, 3 different ones, and I think I lost one, so they kept having to send one to me again and again. But my point is this. The iPhone Pro Max, or the iPhone 13 Pro Max, is out of stock, people. You cannot get one the very same day. So you have to wait until they actually have it in stock, or get it online and hope that you get it sooner than later. So I'm hoping I get it soon, but I have a feeling... They said it might come by the mid-December, and I'm so not happy about that because it's technically November 8th, 2021, and I have to wait till December 2021. So here's my question of the day. Are you willing to order and wait for that long? Jesse, what would you do?
Yeah, I'd wait. It's just a month.
Okay, so you're patient.
I'm a patient person. Some people are impatient, but you know what? I'm just willing to wait and just sit back until it comes to me.
Okay, so you're patient. I'm not. I get it. Because I'm not. No. I have no problems with saying that because I'm very impatient that way, right? I like it. I want to start paying right now, right? So they have to delay the payment until it actually comes, right? So I have to make sure, okay, save that money, leave that money there. I can't use it. It's right there, right? And I did an add-on situation because normally I would just do an upgrade situation, but I'm like, oh, an additional number can't hurt me. So I'm going for some 323 random number, and we'll see what happens. But my point is this. I think the reality is if you order something, you expect it right away. Now, what's going to happen, and here's my thought on this, okay, Jesse? How many people are going to order something, whether it be online or in person, and you want it in time for the holidays? Then what are you going to do?
Yeah, if you're going to order something for the holidays, you should have done that 2 months ago.
Yeah.
If you wait to the last month, then no. Especially if you know that there are, it's Christmas time, the UPS is just going to be packed, and then, FedEx or whatever delivery service, it's going to be busy. So don't expect it. Plan ahead.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So I'm like, well, you know what? I know they're going to have specials, probably Black Friday, right? And then they're going to have specials prior to Christmas, right? Because they have to. But then I thought, wait a minute. If I wait till December, am I going to have to wait till February or March to get them in? Because they are so backlogged. And I met with somebody else over the weekend at a restaurant. I was out with Jose Yo. You've seen him as the Latino cyber guy. And he talks pretty cool tech. Last time he talked about glamping, and he'll talk about that again this week. So we'll get some more information on that. But we had a quick meal in Long Beach. Quick shout out, I think, to it's called Padres. Great location, outside dining, and also safe social distancing. And we met with the manager there, and he said that his other job was working as a driver for the what do they call it in Long Beach, where they have all the cargo just stored away. And he showed me a picture of stacked, I want to say 6 story, well, not 6 stories high because each one's probably not a story, but it looked like maybe a good 4 stories high back to back. What do they call those that are on the back of trains? But I mean, they roll them by. What do they call those? Like containers? The big containers that they put equipment in, and then they load it up on a truck. Then the truck drives cross country, right? They're so stacked, Jesse. There's no way to get to the products inside of them. And then he said, yeah, there's so many ships just in line, just kind of docked outside that they're not coming in. I go, who isn't like moving this forward? How difficult is it to move product A to product B? And he said, we don't have enough truck drivers. I'm like, okay, well, that's an opportunity for people to be more drivers. But, right? I mean, that's like another job that you could say, you know what, I'm going to be a truck driver because obviously they're in demand. So I think right now, truck drivers are in demand. I think that's the thing. They don't have enough truck drivers to move the product. So they're falling behind a lot. But I say get those things off the dock. That's how we get imports here, technically. That's how they get delivered, and then they get to FedEx. They get to the FedEx or shipment or even Amazon. Everything gets shipped, and people don't understand how do you get product from point A to point B, especially from China. Right? A lot of products from there are from China. Very few are from India, which I think more need to come from India because India's pretty innovative. And then Australia, right? We get a lot of product from there. We don't really get product from Russia. And then let's see. And some manufacturing facilities actually are in Africa. So that's what we get, from there to here. That's how we get hard products. So when that's backed up, you're going to create more problems for everybody because basically any product that you want is not going to be, once it's gone, it's gone. So I say this. I have a feeling Black Friday might not be a Black Friday like people want. You know what I mean? So because you usually want it right there and then, right? So I say this, if there's a special deal, and I'm looking at a new TV that I'm thinking about that I just saw, if there's a special deal and they have those in stock, get it. Get it while you can, right? Because those are cheap, more cheap now than ever. And I saw one actually in the apartments over here that are wall-mounted. I would pay the extra amount of money because having a wall-mounted television is probably better than not, right? So have a wall-mounted TV installed, and if you do so with Best Buy, I will say this, I'm a member of Best Buy. I'm so glad I did. I paid a little extra money, even though they didn't really fix my computer. They still replaced the hard drive, but it's like $150. And then I am applying that for some other things because it's like a whole year really good advantage. And then I think they can come over to your place, and they have all these services that are included for free. And I say just sign up for it. It's a pretty good deal. All right. So that's my tip of the day for shopping. If you see it, get it. Don't wait for a new one because they may not have. I'll give you a perfect example. How many PlayStations can you find now, Jesse?
0.
Yeah, nada. Okay, in stock. You have to order them at Target, right, or Walmart. So I say get started now. Get ahead of the big, which everybody's gonna be like, okay, like, well, what's little Junior gonna get? Like a doll, right? Because that's pretty much all that's going to be left after Black Friday. I guarantee it. All right, people, we're going to take a quick little break. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
The Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Banning is distinctively suited for your travel time out of the car. Off the road, you'll find a courteous, welcoming staff in spacious rooms with desks, flat-screen HD TVs, and comfortable furnishings. Enjoy the complimentary breakfast buffet, high-speed internet, and fitness center and pool. The Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Banning, conveniently located off the I-10 near golf, gaming, and entertainment. For reservations and information, call 951-572-5500. That's 951-572-5500, or go online at hiebanning.com.
Are you a self-published author that maybe underestimated the challenges of marketing your own book? I'm Suzanne Lynn, and we help authors sell more books through video interviews and radio advertising. You see, a professional video interview is really an author's secret weapon for marketing because it makes an emotional connection with your reader that can be posted to social media, YouTube, your book's landing page and website, your Amazon author page, and even sent to media to request interviews. We guarantee that video interview will be viewed by a minimum of 3,000 people in your target audience. And let's face it, no one can sell your book better than you speaking about it yourself. Plus, we can run commercials on our nationwide network of radio stations that targets your specific reading audience. Find out more at GiveMyBookWings.com. That's GiveMyBookWings.com. Again, GiveMyBookWings.com.
Together We Are Strong is a product brand which stands for unity, equality, and protecting voting rights. Shop now at togetherwearestrong.com for t-shirts, hats, and coffee mugs. All voting rights profits are donated to Rock the Vote, an organization on a mission to empowering young voters. Become an activist without saying a word. Togetherwearestrong.com. Make a difference in America and the world. Shop online at togetherwearestrong.com. Give the gift that helps drive change. Go visit togetherwearestrong.com.
Hello, listeners. Christopher here from The Christopher Show. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about CBD. Now, CBD is not approved by the FDA as of yet. Myself, as well as millions of other people across the USA, have used it with help for pain, anxiety, sleep, and other conditions. Now, you know, all CBD products are not equal. It really matters on where you get the CBD from. Now, I suggest you get it from a qualified pharmacist, and I happen to know of one. It's at Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California. They only carry pharmaceutical-grade CBD products of the highest quality. So if you want the best, you go to Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions. Their staff is there to help you with all your CBD, pharmacy, and mobility needs. They're located at 1680 East 6th Street in Beaumont, California. Give them a call, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California, 951-845-8252.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. And I want to give a big shout out to this weekend's really big event. Some of you might have been watching me on Instagram. If you're not, follow me at Aaron M. Sanchez. It's very simple. I went live for a good 50 minutes or so. And it was a really good event. It was great to see Susie Castillo doing her thing. Part of the Las Colibri, band on. If you like mariachis, this is the event for you. And if you missed it, go check it out. It's still playing on my Instagram. I'll probably delete some of the other pictures and photos later. But my point in saying that is the Altamed event was really amazing. And I got a chance to talk to a senator who I have not known he was a senator for quite some time. I don't know when he became a senator all of a sudden, but I knew him as the Pico Rivera mayor of about, I want to say maybe 8 years ago. Very humble, very kind, and very loving. And that's hard to say for politicians because I know a lot of politicians personally, and they're either the kind that like want to pick up on you, not me obviously, but like I remember one wanting to pick up on my sister and my disabled sister. I have another sister from on my father's side, and so some would say half sister, but I say full sister obviously. Anyway, and he literally hit on my sister right in front of me. I'm like, man, what a douche, and I'm not gonna say his name, but anyway, first name Gil. But my point is this: I was like upset. I'm like, don't hit on her. Like, what's wrong with you? But my point is this: I think he was there as well. I didn't see him though, so I would have like. Yeah. But my point is this: okay, I mean, when somebody hits on your sister and they're like a politician, you're like, dude, you're like old. What's going on with you? What's wrong with you? And thankfully, she remarried somebody. Well, she married somebody, I should say. She didn't remarry somebody. And my point is this. Some are scuzzy, okay? And I've seen them because I see them behind the scenes when the cameras aren't rolling, right? But I will say this. The senator is really good, okay? And I will say he has a really good thinking mind because we had a conversation, and I'm going to go back to that conversation in a minute, but just think weather and power and electric and or well, I'm going to leave that one open for discussion, okay? Now, here is the latest headline, okay? New high resolution, hold on, climate model predicts more extreme weather events in the future, okay? Now, this was written by Tyler Malden, who's a meteorologist. And lately in this year, we probably have seen such a big influx of natural disasters than we ever have in past years, probably a good 80 years, okay? If you look at the Earth's history in the last 80 years, we have definitely seen a good majority happen around the world. And some people don't watch world news, so they're not paying attention and or communicating with people in these areas. But I'm going to throw up a picture, which is almost all too common, and we're so used to seeing this now. But sometimes we forget about our neighbors around the world, right? But we're on a global planet. And I always say something that he and I were talking about, where we got to start uniting people 100%, right? And people don't like to hear that, but I think it's very necessary at a time where we need people, okay? Now, if you were in this vehicle, the question would be, would you want to be saved no matter the nationality and or the person, or would you not want to be saved at all? And I would say the answer that I just, am posing to all of our viewers, which are watching our live feed, which if you're not watching, you're listening on the radio or in your car, it is a picture of a car half submerged in water, and you have workers actually trying to help the person get out of their vehicle. Okay, one vehicle is completely turned upside down in the upper half of the picture that I'm displaying, and so they're just trying to rescue the person. Okay, now you're probably thinking, well, why can't you just get out of the vehicle on your own? And I would say sometimes you don't understand how these things happen. Now, this is a picture of German soldiers searching for flood victims in submerged vehicles on the federal highway B265 in Erfstadt, Western Germany. This happened in July after heavy rains hit parts of the country, causing widespread flooding and major damage. So unfortunately, some of these people ended up dying in their vehicles, right? Now, here's the reality, and I know we all know natural disasters, but we usually know it from way far away, right, Jesse? Like, if you ever think about a natural disaster, have you ever had one actually impact you personally? I don't know if you have. I mean, maybe you have.
No, I have never had a national disaster affect me. Not like some of these people. It's horrendous.
Yeah, so it's almost like, okay, I mean, it's there. We're used to it. We're used to hearing it. Hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanoes, hailstones, and all of that. You're kind of like, okay, well, that's kind of normal, right? That's what we have to undergo as humans, period, end of story. And unless it affects us personally, it really doesn't affect us. It affects our neighbors, I will say, and it affects us in this way. You've been hearing a lot about climate change lately, especially in the last, I want to say, 3 to 4 weeks, probably because of the big summit that they had and the conversations that are being had of what do we do right now. Now, because of this article, I'm going to read just a couple little sections because a lot of it's really boring to people. They're like, right, I don't want to know those numbers. I don't understand it. But it's a first of its kind study using a new high-resolution climate model to highlight local climate-fueled extreme weather risk decades in advance. Okay, so they're predicting the model in advance. Okay, now just to remind people, when coronavirus first was noted, it was noted and then shared with the Trump administration in February. That's the information that we're all seeing now. They were aware of it. Now, when they share this information, they say, here's a model of what we propose is going to happen eventually. And for those of you that remember movies like Day After Tomorrow or Deep Impact, and Jesse, you remember that, they always say, this is the worst case scenario of what will happen eventually. So we have to get ahead of this, right? Do you remember like some of those movies?
Yes, I remember those movies. Those movies horrify me. I hate natural disaster movies so much.
Yeah, but it's a predictive model of what's happening currently, and they're good predictive models because they use very good machines and quantum computers to be able to calculate certain math to say, okay, this is the current situation if we don't do anything. This is the current situation if we still rise with certain emissions, and that is part of this article. Now, I will say this. If you think human emissions are bad, think of volcano emissions, okay? We have about, I want to say, 38 to 40 volcanoes all happening all at the same time within the last 3 months. Okay, that's a lot of ash. That's a lot of, unfortunately, carbon monoxide, which is just being spewed out into our Earth's atmosphere. Okay, so we got to blame the planet for that one, right? We can't blame ourselves. But are we adding to it or are we cleaning the air as we go? Now, having said that, nobody thinks in fossil fuels in the way that they should. But I will say this. Every time you burn a fossil fuel, and I know people don't understand what a fossil fuel is, but let's just put it in this way. Coal and or anything that gets emitted into our atmosphere, that's a fossil fuel, okay? And it usually it puts out extreme carbon dioxide, okay? Now, monoxide is different than carbon dioxide, actually, even though it sounds pretty much the same. Monoxide is what you never want to inhale, but dioxide is also one that you exhale. Get that? So that's how you remember it. One you don't want to inhale, that's called a carbon monoxide detector. Carbon dioxide is what we all breathe out, okay? So do you get that, Jesse? The difference?
I gotcha.
Okay. Now, Once you have that bit of knowledge, then you say, okay, how does the earth clean in the air eventually? Now, we talked about this about a week and a half back. Plant more trees. Get more plants out there. Get all the forestry back to square one. Plant, 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 plant. Do your job. Make your garden a plant-rich neighborhood. Period, end of story. Okay, just put as many plants as you can. Make sure they're good. Make sure they don't overgrow the others, and you'll be fine for years to come, right? We have to plant the lungs back to the earth. The earth has the ability to filter the air with plants. Okay, so that's our oxygen, just like our bronchial tubes. Whenever you have like a cough, and that's when you really think about your bronchitis, right, or pneumonia. Those are the trees in your lungs that help filter everything. And that's what coronavirus actually damages as well. It damages so much more than the bronchial. But so let's put it this way. If you had the bronchial as a problem of your body, the bronchial of our earth is suffering as well. Now, back to vehicles. Electric vehicles are good, but you have to burn fossil fuel for about good 30 to 80% of Earth's production right here, right now, okay, in order to get electricity. Okay, so there's that. Then there's solar. Solar is more natural than not, but some would theorize, well, doesn't that like heat up the Earth or not heat up the Earth? What's the theory on that? I would say it's marginal. It's not as impactful as too much carbon monoxide in our Earth's atmosphere. The Earth can only clear out so much at a time. Now, having said that, the senator actually talked to me about this very subject, and he actually said something to me. I was like, okay, I never even thought about that. We were talking about fuel cell technology, but he called it something different. Now, I'm going to say really quick, Jesse, when you hear the word hydrogen, what's your first thought?
Explosion.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. That's exactly what I said to him. I said the problem with that is when you say a hydrogen vehicle, what do you think, Jesse?
Hydrogen vehicle. I don't know.
Now you're confused, right?
Yeah.
It's confusing.
How would that work?
How would that work? Okay, see? Okay. Now, if I told you it's a fuel cell vehicle, how does a fuel cell hydrogen vehicle work? Because it's the same thing, by the way.
I have no idea.
Exactly. Nobody knows. Now, I will say this. We gave an award last year, well, actually it was this year, rather, for the Hispanic Motor Press, okay? And we're going to talk to the automotive industry in the next couple of weeks. In Los Angeles, they're coming out, so I believe they're going to keep it. I don't know if they're going to cancel or not. Some actual auto vehicles or shows are completely canceling across the country. So I don't know if this one's going to stay alive. But if it does, we're going to be talking about fuel cell a lot, I guarantee you. Because here's the problem. Nobody understands anything about hydrogen right now. But it's basically H2O. Hydrogen, 2 atoms meet 1 atom of oxygen makes what, Jesse?
Gold. No, water.
Yeah, water. Okay, all right. So it's basically a hydrogen vehicle, or H2O, water producing vehicle. Now you're probably thinking,
Ooh, no, I've heard about that. I remember there was a story about somebody made an engine back in the 70s that worked on water.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the gas or the people that, make gasoline and stuff, they found out, they're like, nope, and silenced him. But those are all conspiracy theories.
Well, no, I think it happened, but I think they did it so they could get a handle on it. But it's neither here nor there. But it's very possible because that's what's called fuel cell technology. Now you know the difference. It's basically, I'm just gonna make it very plain as day. It's water technology. Okay. Now when people think water, they think, and I have a bottle of water right here. They think, oh no, we're already in drought. We can't do that right now. That makes no sense, right? But what if I told you you could take ocean water, which we have plenty of, recycle it into a vehicle and emit good, clean oxygen right here, right now? Would you sign up for that?
I would. The only thing I can see problem with that is you would have to find a way to filter out all that salt.
Okay. But that's what the companies do ahead of time for you. So they do that, and then they make it so that the vehicles have the ability to allow that as the new fuel, and that will actually produce you to go fast, very quick and very fast. Now, here's the thing that nobody knows. The great news about that is, how long does it take to get your vehicle, if it's electric, especially all electric, to get charged on one single charge. Do you know, Jesse?
No, you know what? I always wondered about that. How long does it take to charge a full electric vehicle like a Tesla or something?
Anywhere. Well, Tesla's a little bit longer. That's about 58 minutes, okay? But the average one is anywhere from 38 to 48 minutes currently, okay? So let's say this. Let's say you're going cross country, right? And you don't see an electric power supply unit, and you don't know where to plug it in, and nobody has a plug-in for you, kind of like your cell phone, right? Whenever you need it, you can't get it, right? So you take a backup battery, right, to be able to do that. So if you take that into account, and all of a sudden, let's say there's an emergency, and maybe you forgot to charge it the night before because you're supposed to plug it in at night if you have one in your house installed, and if you have that, then you're supposed to plug it in. But what if, just like your cell phone, I forgot, and now you got to go somewhere really quick. Now you're like, oh, I'll fuel it up later, right? But you're like, okay, where's the charging device? And they have a lot of those now at Walmart and Target in the parking lot, right? So you're like, okay, well, I'm good. Tesla's been doing a really good job with that. But it still takes at least plan for 45 minutes on average to get a single charge, okay? Now, yeah, it's less expensive, but it's not convenient. Now, what if I told you with the, I would say water, with the water solution, it's just like fueling up your gas tank, so it's lickety-split just like that. Now, if you add that to the gas stations of the world, you add diesel, you add clean fuel, right, known as water fuel. We'll just keep it very simple for the thinking minds, and or gas, and it's one of the three options, and your vehicle has that. How difficult is it to get that started right here, right now, if you get a fuel cell water solution vehicle? How fast?
A good question. That's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, okay. So you do that, and you make it possible for each and every person driving to go super fast, super quick, and super speedy. Because here's the other thing that he told me, and I didn't even consider it at first. So big shout out to Senator Bob Archuleta, who's very schooled on this, and he's trying to write a bill to make it more possible for these places to exist. And he said this. He said, do you know how heavy a vehicle is with certain battery technology to make it electric? It is heavy, but water is a lot lighter. The battery is actually lighter than, or the weight of it all is lighter than one with all electric. And I said, I didn't even consider that. He goes, plus it goes further, longer. I said, whoa. So I said, how far can it go? And I don't know what he said, but I think it's anywhere from 480 on average to an electric vehicle being at 380 on average. So you get more for your money. And how much ocean water do we have? And when it gets processed and it gets spit back out as an emission, now you're adding clean air fuel, because guess what? It's no longer fuel anymore. I wouldn't call it fuel. I would call it, because that's kind of like you're thinking oil or bad emission. You're putting basically vapor air back into our air's atmosphere. So now you become basically the fueling agent, which we're going to need more of to clear out all of that gunk, which is just sitting there waiting to be cleared out through certain clouds, right? So I know some people are like, wait, does that mean we're going to have more clouds? We're going to have more rains? And we're going to have, wait, where are we going with this? And I would say, look, we're not there yet. I would say we need to clean our air right here, right now. Let's stop emitting bad emissions, and let's start emitting good emissions, and let's do it very safely. And if we're already there, why not just implement it right here, right now? So I will say that's going to be the challenge. Bob says he's going to invite us to see some new technology pretty soon around the corner. I hope he does, because I got questions for the auto industry and the energy sector, because I say, why don't we get it started now? Because we'll be ahead of the curve on our global atmosphere. So that's what I'm going to propose. I'm going to say this to each and every person. Start thinking in this way. If you have a water solution for your vehicle, how much better is it now to take a cross-country drive if every single gasoline location now has the ability to fill up really quick, really fast using clean air? Okay, we'll find it. We'll say it. Clean air fuel for your vehicle, right? Pretty fast, pretty quick, pretty efficient. There you go. So that's what I'm going to say out there. There's good vehicles that are already doing it. Don't let people say, oh, yeah, that's old technology. That's not old. That's brand new. Okay, that's brand new. Much brand new than all the other ones, right? I mean, as solar panels, as much as I love them, take a long time. So you still have to get that technology up really quick and fast, like in certain areas where it's really cloudy and you don't get enough sun. Technically, that could be a second alternative. I would do water first, solar second, electric third, and fuel, like the way they do it, probably a good last option because you can't get rid of fuel. You can never get rid of fuel because you have older vehicles, and some people just aren't going to change that. Plus, you have muscle cars, you have everything. So you're still going to have fuel, but now you're ahead of the curve for the nation and the world. All right, people, I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Join Yvette Walker every Tuesday at 4 o'clock p.m. on KMET ABC News Radio, 1490 AM, FM 98.1, and Internet KMET TV for the Southern California Business Report. The show is dedicated to highlighting successful businesses and the individuals behind them. Yvette interviews the incredible people managing these enterprises that range from awe-inspiring sole proprietors to world-renowned organizations. The Southern California Business Report, Tuesdays at 4 o'clock p.m.
Tried shipping a package lately? It's amazing how difficult and time-consuming it can be. Packing, envelopes, boxes, second-day ground, next-day air, it's all enough to give you a headache. Next time, do yourself a favor, go with the pros at the UPS store in Beaumont. They'll pack it right and let you know all your shipping options. You can also take care of everyday tasks like copies, faxing, notary services, and live scan fingerprinting. And while you're there, pay your Edison, gas company, and Verizon bills. Open extended hours Monday through Saturday. The UPS store in Beaumont, located in the Oak Valley Plaza at 1440 Beaumont Avenue. Call 951-769-5956. That's 951-769-5956. Online at the upsstorelocal.com/5027 or Google 5027.
You've been charged with a crime, and now you're facing the loss of your freedom. Where do you turn to get out of jail or stay out of jail? The law offices of Wallen and Claridge. Call 877-4-NO-JAIL. With over 20 years experience and attorneys who work in your local courts, Wallen and Claridge can make the difference between jail and freedom. When you need help, make one call. Make it to Wallen and Claridge. 877-4-NO-JAIL. The call is free. Will you be?
When you want the best performance for your vehicle, think only of Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont, right off the I-10 and 60 freeways. Check out Scott's complete list of performance products on their website at hdrinfo.com. Scott's Headers and Mufflers can recommend ways for your car or truck to get better gas mileage and cut down on emissions. Need your car or truck to pass smog only? Go to Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont. Find out all of your questions on vehicle performance by logging on to hdrinfo.com. scottdrinfo.com.
Ontario International Airport is onto a better way to fly with over 65 daily nonstop flights to more than 20 major destinations and the easiest airport experience in Southern California. Visit flyonto.com/Ontario to learn more about Ontario International Airport today.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. And if you haven't downloaded our app, it's free. It's KMET 1490 AM on the Play Store app. It's very simple. Just follow it, like it, and tell your friends, okay? Because I know some people listen on that. They only listen to the audio. They don't watch our video, and that's okay. But if you're not following us on Facebook, please do so. It's KMET 1490 AM. Very simple. 98.1 FM on the radio dial as well, especially in the Inland Empire. But if you're around the world, you can still tune in. Just find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and with Aaron Michael Sanchez, and you'll find that as well. Or just type in Aaron M. Sanchez on all platforms, and you'll find us. Very simple. All right, I'm looking through the news headlines, and I will say this. Trump is back in the news. Wait, what? Oh, no, I thought he was going to go away. Why is he still back in the news? Well, this is an interesting conversation, according to a new book by ABC News chief, Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl. And I think this is worth discussing because I think we're really going to have to see something happen pretty soon. And I think the question of the day is, I know we have Biden for a good another maybe, 2.5 years, right? I think that's about before we start hearing about who's the next possible president, or is he going to get reelected, right? That's always a question, to serve another term. Well, in an angry conversation on his final day as president, Donald Trump said to the chairwoman of the Republican National Committee he was leaving the GOP and creating his own political party, and he didn't care if the move would destroy the Republican Party. Okay, well, I'm going to say this right now. I guarantee you he's still trying to get Republican votes to sway his way. I guarantee it. Because there's so much money in that party, there's no way he's going to go create a brand new one. What's he going to do? Go independent or call the Trump party? There's not going to be enough support, I guarantee it. And now it does say this. Trump backed down when Republican leaders threatened to take actions that would have cost Trump millions of dollars. Oh, there it is. There's the surprise. Wink, wink. Oh, we're gonna do that for you. Okay, let's see. So Carl writes his upcoming book, Betrayal: The Final Act of the Trump Show. The book gives a detailed account of Trump's stated intention to reject the party that elected him president and the aggressive actions taken by party leaders to force him to back down. Now, the standoff, and I know a lot of people don't understand because they didn't really watch it because like, oh, God, more absurdity in our world. But it started on January 20th of 2021, after Trump boarded Air Force One for his last flight as president. Now, there's very few people on this flight, right? But evidently, Carl was one of them, okay? So this is like an insider's view, right? The one where people go, you don't write about this, right? You know, or whatever. You know, they think everybody's, above board. Yeah, guaranteed. That's why people are coming out from his administration saying, that guy is a tyrannical man, okay? There's several people doing the circuit going, that guy is going to create problems for us, I guarantee you, if he gets elected. In other words, he's going to run. Again, he already promised he would, he will, and I guarantee you, he'll be either one to beat down or one to just win. I don't really know. But according to this, Carl writes this. He says, RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel called to wish him farewell. Okay, that's called. Okay, well, hey, thank you for doing what you did. We appreciate you. Thank you for representing the Republican Party, right? And that was amid chaos, by the way. If you didn't do the math, there was a lot of chaos already happening, right? Now, he called it was a very unpleasant conversation. Carl writes in Betrayal, set to be released on November 16th. He says this. Donald, and this is in his book, all right? I'm going to read it word for word so I don't misrepresent anybody because I don't dare I say something wrong that Carl wrote. Donald Trump was in no mood for small talk or nostalgic goodbyes. He got right to the point. He told her he was leaving the Republican Party and would be creating his own political party. The president's son, Donald Trump Jr., was also on the phone, okay? The younger Trump had been relentlessly denigrating the RNC for being insufficiently loyal to Trump. Now, I'm going to stop right there. I get it. He loves his dad more than most people realize. Okay, that's called, I'm going to support my father no matter what. And all of you that don't support him, how dare you? That's my pop, right? And Trump, I would pay attention to that. That guy loves you, so, give him more money. Okay, then he says, in fact, at the January 6th rally before the Capitol riot, the younger Trump all but declared that the old Republican Party didn't exist anymore. And I get it. If that's your pop and he's taking care of you ever since you were a little kid, you're going to be like, hey, how dare you guys, right? That's how his son is. Which is, honestly, that's the kind of son you want, right? I mean, that's the kind of son I want eventually, right? Don't we all? With just hours left in his presidency, Trump was telling the Republican Party chairwoman that he was leaving the party entirely. The description of this conversation and the discussions that followed come from two sources with direct knowledge of these events. Not just one perspective, too. That's pretty smart. Trump told McDaniel, I'm done. I'm starting my own party. I get that. Yeah. After party, great party, lots of alcohol, lots of beer, lots of women. Yep. I wonder what's going on with Melania. Jesse, do you know what's going on with Melania? I feel like Melania is kind of like wanting to see another man. Am I wrong on that? Am I the only one that gets it?
Yeah, it would not surprise me, but you know what? I have not followed Trump since he left office, so...
I mean, I get it. We all have ladies in our lives that leave us all of a sudden, so, no shame in your game, Trump. I get it. You can just pay for the next one. All right. McDaniel told Trump, you cannot do that. If you do, we will lose forever. I kind of get that. Don't divide us, Trump. I get that. Okay. Then Trump responded, exactly. You lose forever without me. I don't care. God, this guy's such a big baby. Oh, my God. How you run a nation for that long? I can tell you right now, anybody and then some could run a nation. If Trump could run a nation, it's not that hard. All right. Trump's attitude was that if he had lost, he wanted everybody around him to lose as well. Carl writes, yeah, that's Trump. Good old Trump. Don't believe the stuff he does on air. Just, be a fly on the wall. According to a source who witnessed the conversation, Trump was talking as if he viewed the destruction of the Republican Party as a punishment to those party leaders who had betrayed him. I get that. Everybody's against me, right? That's why you called basically like coronavirus. It's set against his presidency. How dare they? Once everything gets solved, it's going to go away. No, coronavirus is still here. We're still having to deal with it. Thanks a lot, Trump. Including those few who voted to impeach him and the much larger group he believed didn't fight hard enough to overturn the election in his favor. You understand where we're going with this? Yeah, according to the book, Trump told McDaniel, "This is what Republicans deserve for not sticking up for me." Dude, they voted for you, man. What the heck? Did you win or did you lose? So obviously he was mad because he knew the numbers were not in his favor, right? In response, McDaniel tried to convince Trump that creating his own party wouldn't just destroy the Republican Party, it would also destroy him. Oh, that's called work. You know what? You're not going to put your will over mine. I'm going to tell you what's going to go down. We're going to get ahead of you. However, this is what they write next. McDaniel said, "This isn't what the people who depended on you deserve, the people who believed in you. You'll ruin your legacy. You'll be done." But Trump said he didn't care, like a whiny old baby. Nobody likes me anymore. Well, then just do the freaking right thing to do. Just do that. Carl writes in his book, okay, Trump wasn't simply floating an idea. He was putting the party chairwoman on notice that he had decided to start his own party. It was a done deal. He had made up his mind. He was very adamant that he was going to do it. A source who heard the president's comments later told me. So it wasn't simply floating. He's like, no, I'm going to just do this because this is what I do. Following the tense conversation, McDaniel informed RNC leadership about Trump's plans, providing a tense standoff between Trump and his own party over the course of the next 4 days. That's called, all right, guys, what are we going to do about this, guys? Not playing by our rules. We give him a lot of money. Yeah. What would you do, Jesse, if you were on that plane hearing that conversation? What would you do, just out of curiosity?
If I heard that, Trump wanted to start a new party?
Yeah.
What would you call it? I don't know. I'd just be, I wouldn't say anything because just for fear of retribution, but I would just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, according to the book, while Trump morose in defeat and eager for revenge, and everybody's been saying that he wants revenge, plotted the destruction of the Republican Party, the RNC played hardball. An RNC official told Carl, "We told them there were a lot of things they still depend on the RNC for, and that if this were to move forward, all of it would go away." Wow, that's what they said. Oh. According to the book, McDaniel and her leadership team made it clear that if Trump left, the party would immediately stop paying legal bills incurred during post-election challenges. They were paying the legal bills? What? I thought this guy was like a billionaire. Isn't he supposed to like pay for his own bills? Pay for my bills. My God, right, Jesse? Like, help us out.
I guess that's how the rich stay rich.
That support each other financially. Yep, 100%. Carl writes, referring to the campaign's list of the email addresses of 40 million Trump supporters, more significant, the RNC threatened to render Trump's most valuable political asset worthless. Says the book, it's a list Trump had used to generate money by renting it to candidates at a steep cost. Oh. We were buying back for a nominal fee of at least $1 million. Yeah, he's that guy. The list generated so much money that party officials estimated that it was worth about $100 million. And there you go. That's your answer. The presidency can be bought for a price. Until, of course, the said person says, you know what? I'm going to go down with all of you never. I'm going to create my own way. And they're like, you know what? Then fine. Don't take our money. He's like, you know what? We're going to play by them rules. Okay, fine. Let's get back to it. I think he's made a repair so much so, that's why he's planning on running, which is why you see him top news headline each and every day in the political realm. I'm like, can there be another candidate? I'm done with this guy. We saw where we're at. All right, climate change is real. Remember that whole, the little bit that we do, blah, blah, blah. He's a whiny baby. Stop being a whiny baby. Be a grown-up man. Put your big boy pants on. All right, people, I'm out of time. Make it a good day, whatever you do. Remember, life is worth living. So do it well and do it safely. And think about water, fuel, energy. Yep, 100%.